Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. And we're going to talk about a trade offer that got leaked today. And because it involves my Indiana Pacers, I want to talk about it, give my opinion on it, because I'm going to be honest, I have a completely different take on this trade compared to a lot of Pacers fans. And I'm going to explain why, okay? So, in case you guys don't know, there was a trade offer that got leaked today that the Pacers offered Malcom Brogdon and a first round pick for Ben Simmons. I guess earlier in the season, when the rumors of Ben Simmons being traded came up, a lot of people were once this trade dropped, this would have been great for us, and so on and so forth. And I'm just gonna be perfectly honest with you. I don't think it would have been a good trade for the Pacers as a Pacers fan, and I'm going to explain why. So, first things first. Ben Simmons has been stagnant since he got into the league. I'm just gonna say this. I understand, like, some people are making an argument that both players are that Malcom Brogdon is injury prone. Like, bro, the past 2 years, Ben Simmons and Malcom Brogdon have played damn near the same amount of games. It's almost identical, actually. They've both played about 50 games, or just over 50 games. So the injury prone argument doesn't really make much sense here, because for the past 2 years they've pretty much played the same amount of games. So I don't really understand that argument, but it's an argument people are making. So there's that argument. My argument is that I understand why Pacers fans wanted this trade to happen. However, the Pacers offered way too little for how Ben Simmons is valued, okay? Ben Simmons, don't get me wrong, is incredibly good at a lot of things, okay? He's a great defender, he's a great rebounder of the basketball, he's a great playmaker, he's great at attacking the basket. He is good at all of those things. He is good at everything, except for shooting the fucking basketball. He is good at every other thing, okay? He is just very, very bad at shooting. In fact, in his Game 7, okay, with the 76ers, I made a huge video about it saying that the Philadelphia 76ers need to move on from Ben Simmons, because you cannot have it where the second best player on your team only scores 5 points in a Game 7, okay? He can do everything else good or extremely well, whatever, but if you can't score, okay, your ability to help your team is limited. Okay, and a lot of people don't realize that. Like, Malcom Brogdon averaged 21 points a game this year for the Pacers. And I understand that, Malcom Brogdon is not like a true playmaker, and Ben Simmons is. Ben Simmons is a better defender, a better rebounder, and I understand the argument for having Ben Simmons. But do people not understand that Ben Simmons is owed $146 million? 146. Okay? He is not worth the contract that he was given. I understand why the 76ers gave him that contract. It's going to be incredibly hard to move Ben Simmons because of that contract. But I understand why they gave it to him. Ben Simmons is a work in progress. And I understand people saying that, Ben Simmons can be taught how to shoot. He's only 24 years old. And maybe he can. Maybe. Ben Simmons strikes me as a guy that is afraid to shoot the basketball. Okay? I think Shannon Sharp put it into context very well. Actually, when somebody asked him if he could swim, and he said no. Okay? And he's like, oh, well, are you afraid of the water? No. Then we can teach you how to swim. Ben Simmons is one of those guys that doesn't know how to shoot, and he's afraid to shoot. Okay? He only, in the past 2 years, started attempting threes. He shot 30% from three this year and 28% from three last year. He's a 61% free throw shooter. He is afraid to shoot mid-range jump shots. He very rarely takes a three-pointer, okay? Like, I could probably count, like, he's probably taken less than 50 threes in the course of an entire season. This is a guy who is afraid to shoot the basketball. He is a guy that dreads shooting the ball in any late game situation or whatever, okay? Can this be changed? Yes, but it is very unlikely, okay? I'm not saying Ben Simmons doesn't have the ability to shoot, because I've seen him shoot the basketball in like summer games and stuff like that, in games that don't matter. But for whatever reason in the NBA, Ben Simmons is afraid to shoot the basketball. In fact, I would argue that Ben Simmons being such a bad free throw shooter and just such a bad shooter in general was part of the reason the 76ers lost their series. Okay? It was part of the reason they lost, because it got to a point where late in games, teams were like, we're going to play hack a Ben Simmons, because he can't shoot free throws if his life depended on it. And for me, I think to myself, I understand why you would want Ben Simmons, but for the contract and for the amount of money he's getting paid, we should be getting a jump shot with that or something, okay? But I understand why Pacers fans wanted him, but is he really a significant upgrade over Malcom Brogdon? Like, I'm just saying, man, like, Malcom Brogdon's averaging, like, what, 1 less assist a game? He's averaging, 5 or 6 more points a game? I mean, if I look at Malcom Brogdon's stats, I know Malco. Okay, Malcom Brogdon, right? Malcom Brogdon is scoring 21 a game. He's getting 5 rebounds and 5 assists. Okay, on 21 a game. And you want to trade him for a guy who's a 16, 7, and 7 guy, whose contract is significantly more. I understand the age difference as well. I understand that Ben Simmons is significantly younger than Malcom Brogdon, but are we really? I'm not saying that Brogdon's a better player either. I don't want people to get that twisted either. I'm not saying that Malcom Brogdon's a better player. I'm simply saying this trade would not have made the Pacers any better. It wouldn't. It wouldn't have made either team better, to be honest with you. And that's my verdict on this trade. This whole trade that got leaked, it wouldn't have made either team better. You get a guy who's 16, 7, and 7 for a guy who's 21, 5, and 5, or 21, 6, and 6, if you really want to go there. Okay? And you're trading a guy who shot, 38% from the field and 86% from the free throw line, and like, I don't know, 48, almost 50% from the field. Malcom Brogdon's a 50-40-90 guy. He's been in the 50-40-90 club before. Yeah, he made the 50-40-90 club a couple of years ago in his last year in Milwaukee. So why would you trade that for Ben Simmons, who you basically are going to take on a huge contract, right? You're going to get a guy who's a 16, 7, and 7 guy, which is not much significantly better than what you already have, for a guy that, like, you pray and hope that he learns and develops how to shoot a basketball. Doesn't make sense. For me, doesn't make sense. I actually almost question why Kevin Pritchard would even make this trade. Because I get it, Ben Simmons is great at attacking the basket. He's, like I said, he's great at everything. Great at passing, great at rebounding, great at defense, great at attacking the basket. But you need to, in today's NBA, you need to be able to shoot the basketball, okay? And we've seen guys like Giannis suffer. Giannis is significantly better than Ben Simmons. And Giannis, because he can't shoot the basketball, he's still a great player, an MVP caliber player, but he's not what he could be. Ben Simmons is the same situation. A guy who's very good at everything else, but when it comes to shooting, it's abysmal. It's not even bad. It's abysmal. Okay? At least Giannis is, I think, trying to develop that facet of his game. But Ben Simmons, I don't know what the hell this dude's been doing in the offseason. I'm starting to think he sits on his ass and plays Call of Duty. Okay? Like, that's what I'm thinking Ben Simmons does. Because ever since Ben Simmons has entered the league, he has not gotten better. He's plateaued. Okay? He's actually went down from a 16, 7, and 7 guy down to, like, what, a 14, 7, and 7 guy this year? And I understand shortened seasons and stuff like that if you want to make that argument, but this was a trade that people are making, I think, out to be a bigger deal than it actually is. I don't think this trade would have helped either team. I really don't. You know why? Because you know what would have happened? Let me tell you what would have happened. Okay? The 76ers would have gotten Malcom Brogdon, and maybe they win one more playoff series because they have a guy who's not afraid to shoot the ball. He's a pretty good three-point shooter, decent. You can depend on him in the clutch to actually make free throws. He's in some facets, I almost think this might have actually been better for the 76ers, and I can't believe I'm saying that because Ben Simmons is a better rebounder and a better defender, and he's taller, he's better at attacking the basket. But Brogdon's not afraid to shoot the ball. He's not afraid to play defense, okay? He averages a steal a game. So, like, I think to myself, right, like, the Pacers, what would have happened in this situation is we would have traded for Ben Simmons. Let's just say, hypothetically, they accept the trade. Hypothetically speaking, the 76ers get Malcom Brogdon, the Pacers get Ben Simmons, the 76ers get a first-round pick. You know what would have happened? Let me tell you what would have happened. Pacers fans would have gotten Ben Simmons. We would have made the fucking playoffs again, and we would have lost in the playoffs again because we have a fucking point guard that's good at everything except for shooting and making fucking free throws. Okay, we have a guy who's afraid to shoot the basketball, and then everybody would be coming out in another, 3 years from now. Hypothetically, obviously, if they accepted the trade, 3 years from now, people would be like, well, we should have never traded for Ben Simmons. We had this huge contract, and he can't take us to the NBA Finals. That's exactly what the fuck would have happened. So I don't understand why people are making it out to be bigger than it is. I don't understand why people are acting like this would have been a franchise-transforming move. Yeah, it would have sold some more fucking tickets. But can you imagine Ben Simmons, Sabonis, and Miles Turner on the floor together trying to shoot three-pointers? Like, not for nothing, but I'm going to call out Pacers fans here for a while. All right. Weren't we all bitching about shooting? Weren't we all bitching and complaining that we don't have enough three-point shooters or guys who are good at shooting threes? And you want to trade a guy who's actually shooting 38% from three for a guy who couldn't hit the side of a barn? Okay, he couldn't hit water if he was dropped into a fucking lake. You want to trade a guy who scores 21 points per game, shoots 38% from three, and 86% from the free throw line for a guy who is afraid to shoot a fucking jump shot. Okay, I'm not in the NBA, but you put me on an NBA fucking court and hand me a basketball, and you can guarantee I'm going to shoot that motherfucker until it goes in. Okay, I've never in my life seen a guy like Ben Simmons who's afraid to shoot. Even Giannis, the weakest facet of his game is shooting the basketball, and Giannis isn't afraid to shoot. Ben Simmons is afraid to shoot. So, if he's afraid to shoot, how do you know he will ever become a decent shooter? How do you know he'll ever become a confident shooter? There's too many what-ifs for the amount of money that Ben Simmons is getting paid. And that's my final take on it. You can say what you want about it. I understand the argument for wanting him. I understand the vision people have with it, where Sabonis is a good passer and Simmons is a good passer. And the problem is, if he can't fucking score, if he can't shoot, it's like having like a Ricky Rubio at point guard almost. Like a guy who's great at passing, he's a decent defender, but if he can't fucking shoot, what's the purpose of having him? He becomes a liability at that point. And I just feel like everybody's like, oh, this would have been so, transforming for our franchise. No, it wouldn't have. The most it would have done is give us a contract that we would be strapped to for the next, 5 years with a guy who's afraid to shoot the basketball. And then when the playoffs come, people will be bitching and complaining that we have a point guard who's too much of a pussy to shoot the fucking basketball. And then in late game situations, he can't make fucking free throws. This is what would have happened. I'm just telling you now, this is what would have happened from a fucking Pacers fan. This is what would have happened because I'd be one of those people bitching about it. So that's all I'm saying is I feel like this trade offer is being made out to be more than it actually was. Obviously, the 76ers are trying to set their trade value for Ben Simmons by denying this trade and having it get out in the press and stuff. Like, we're not going to take Malcom Brogdon in the first-round pick for a guy we're paying $146 million to who can't shoot for shit. So that's all I'm saying is if anybody wants Ben Simmons, I don't know what the asking price or the market's going to be. Ben Simmons is not a terrible player, but in this situation, I don't think it makes any team better. Trading Brogdon for Simmons, I think all it does is increase ticket sales and get people excited about a guy who I really don't think is going to get much better than he already is, unless I see some significant strides this offseason in jump shooting from Ben Simmons. expect Ben Simmons to be a 16, 7, and 7 guy who's going to shoot 53% from the field and shoot like ass from the free throw line, and pretty much everywhere else he has to take a jump shot. So, I don't know, man. I know this video sounds kind of harsh, but that's just my opinion on it. I really don't think that this trade would have made any team better. I really don't. I feel like it would have been like two teams just swapping almost similar players in their own way. Just because Brogdon averages almost similar stats to Simmons. He scores more than Simmons, but when it comes to the rebounding and the assist category, like I said, Ben Simmons is a 16, 7, and 7 guy. Brogdon's a 21, 5, and 5 guy who shoots better. So, and averages 1 steal a game, while Ben Simmons is like a 1.6 steals a game. So, I guess the trade, I don't know. I guess you could say it was kind of a fair offer in some ways, but I'm kind of glad this trade got denied because I do not like Ben Simmons' contract. I understand he's good, but I don't like his contract for the idea that he's just a liability on offense. So, tell me what you guys think down below in the comment section below. Like, helps me out, subscribe if you guys want to see more. This has been the Fast Break Report, and I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.